All right, everybody, welcome back to Full Circle with Joyce. We're getting down to the wire here. Just another about 20 minutes to go to 10 o'clock and to the end of our program this morning. But indeed, lots we've discussed, lots of information coming our way. I certainly hope that this is inspiring and challenging several of you watching. Right now, we want to switch into our final topic for the day, which is about thyroid disease awareness. And my guest in studio is Sarah Katule, who's the founder of the Thyroid Disease Awareness Kenya Foundation. Now, she is actually a survivor of the disease, and the TDAK Foundation is all about empowering people by creating awareness about thyroid disease in Kenya and the region. The foundation seeks to shed light on thyroid disease with an aim of helping people detect, share the correct lifestyle changes, and empower people with the information necessary as far as the right medical care and treatment options are concerned. Karibu sana to the show.
Thank you, Joyce.
Really good to have you here.
Thank you.
So you have actually been through thyroid disease.
Yes.
When were you diagnosed? Just tell us a bit about your story.
So I was diagnosed with thyroid disease in 2011. I had just given birth to my now 8-year-old little girl. And because I was not understanding the symptoms, it was very hard to really pinpoint exactly what was going on. So I was in and out of the doctor's office, just experiencing these very weird symptoms. He also could not detect until the 5th visit, I think. And at the time my neck had started protruding. So that is when they were able to detect.
Okay.
Yeah, and so my journey towards thyroid treatment began from there.
Yeah, and you're saying after a while is when your neck had started protruding, and we can see here your surgical scars.
Yeah.
But so before that, you were saying other weird symptoms.
Yeah.
That wasn't necessarily the neck protruding.
No.
So what were some of those symptoms you
So
experienced?
like I was feeling tired all the time. I was having these heart palpitations, like at night when I'm sleeping, and I was very sweaty. And then my legs were just feeling sluggish. I just had this mental fog, like I was just forgetful all the time. And I was just tired. I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to sit, and doing any chore at home was a task.
Okay.
Yeah.
So from now your experience and having walked through this with doctors, gone through it and survived, what would you say are the causes then of thyroid disease?
So there are many causes, but even before we talk about the causes, I think I would just like for people to understand what the thyroid gland is. So the thyroid gland, excuse me, is a gland that is located just at the base of your neck. It's a butterfly-shaped gland that produces certain kinds of hormones. Now, these hormones are responsible for your body's metabolism. Any activity in your body is literally dependent on the hormones that are produced by your thyroid gland.
Yeah.
So any imbalance in that hormonal process is actually now what causes thyroid disease or thyroid disorder, so to speak.
So there could even be a relation with what we were just talking about in our previous segment, which is PCOS.
Yes, because the thyroid gland is also part of the endocrine system. Yeah, and the endocrine system is basically a hormonal system, or it has organs and glands that produce certain chemicals in the body.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, and so that then would be what the gland is and what causes the disease.
Yeah. So the major symptoms are you will have iodine deficiency, and as I said, when you're feeling tired all the time,
Sluggish.
you're feeling sluggish, your hair starts to fall off for some people.
Really? Okay.
You have digestive issues. Yeah. You have cold intolerance. Sometimes there are people who just feel cold when it's hot. Yeah, such kind of symptoms. When you start feeling like that, or maybe when you're feeling foggy, you have this mental lethargy that you're not understanding, and you know that it's not the normal you. It's time to get checked.
Okay, so we can't really say that this is a genetic thing, is it?
There is a genetic predisposition, but say 20%. So most of it is basically caused by environmental factors.
Really?
Maybe the diet that you're on. We are living in a very fast-paced society. The kinds of foods that we eat can also affect. Yeah.
So we're talking about what foods high in salt, or
high in just processed
food.
Yeah, junk food, carbonated drinks, smoking,
Wow.
drinking alcohol, all those, they affect a lot, because thyroid disease is an autoimmune condition.
Yeah.
So anything that is not favoring your immune system is your body's enemy.
Right. And talk to us about why it's so important to get this checked, because, you know, we're also Kenyans who, we like to self-medicate. We like to say, it's not even a big deal. I'm still walking, aren't I? I can still go to work. There's a way that we can actually dismiss a lot of health issues, but we probably just don't even understand the repercussions behind it. So, you know, tell us about the risks of leaving this unchecked.
Actually, the major risk is death. It
Wow.
can kill you if you do not go and have it checked. The symptoms come very slowly. It is a very sly disease to have. So you really will not be able to tell that you have thyroid disease at first. But as the symptoms begin to progress and you start feeling abnormal, then you know that something is wrong and you get checked.
Yeah.
But the problem is that with most doctors, it's not an option that comes to the mind, to check for thyroid disease, because some of these symptoms mimic other conditions,
Right.
like, malaria or cholera. So it becomes hard to detect it. So as we create awareness, as people get empowered, they're also able to go and ask to have their thyroid tests done.
Right. And I think that's absolutely
It's very
important,
empowering.
because if you're saying the symptoms
Yeah.
mimic other things,
Yeah.
so if your doctor checks you for that and says, actually, no, you don't have malaria, nothing is wrong with you, then you
Yeah.
can say, check for thyroid disease,
Check for
because you
thyroid.
have an awareness about it.
Yeah.
Okay. And is there any particular age group or gender even that is more likely to be affected by thyroid disease?
So thyroid disease can literally affect anyone as long as you have the thyroid gland. It starts from young kids, infants, all the way to people that are old as 60 years old. So, but mostly it affects people in the reproductive age, between 20 to 55 years old.
Okay.
Because that is when your reproductive system is a bit active. Yeah.
Okay, and let me invite you guys again, of course, to continue sending in your feedback to 22999. You can also comment on our Facebook page at Switch TV Kenya. And we're going to be talking about your foundation in just a little bit. But as I was saying earlier, we can see your surgical scar here from having do you call it it's not the gland that was, is it the gland that was removed, or it's just the swelling?
It was the gland that was removed, because, as it is a butterfly-shaped gland, and depending on where the abnormality is, or where the swelling is, the doctor will look in and decide how to go about the surgery. But what I first of all like to advise people is that you need to be empowered and know that no doctor should touch you unless your thyroid hormones are balanced, unless you've been declared what they call euthyroid, which is when they say your hormones are balanced, but you're not out of the woods yet. So he still continues checking and monitoring your progress, and then he slowly tries to reduce the dosage until you're free of the disease. So it's a long-term treatment process. We actually say you really never get healed of thyroid disease. It's just a long-term.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a long-term
But surgery
process.
is a last, it should be one of the final options. Were there other treatments you were taking before the surgery?
Yeah, I was, mine was what is known as Graves' disease, which is an autoimmune condition that causes your thyroid gland to overproduce hormones. And when I was detected with that, because they did not detect it early enough, it started swelling.
Okay.
And then started swelling on the inside.
Okay.
So sometimes that's why we're saying you necessarily do not have to see your neck protrude.
Yeah.
So you just listen to the symptoms first.
Okay.
So for me, they went in and they removed the mass or the goiter that had gotten swollen on the inside. Yeah.
So it's not the actual gland itself, is it?
It is the gland.
It is the.
It
so
is the
what?
gland.
How does that affect your life now? Then not having that
the gland. Well, in Kenya, most surgeries are done. They do what they call partial thyroidectomy.
Okay.
In other words, they remove part of your gland and they leave the other gland for your body to use.
Yeah.
Now, the thyroid gland, those hormones are very important for your body. So either way, you have to supplement.
Okay.
So if you have your whole thyroid gland removed, then you have to supplement with medication for the rest of your life.
Okay.
And I know that is what I didn't want.
Yeah.
'Cause I'd
So
already-
that's why you're saying it's sort of a disease that continues
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
Because you have to keep supplementing.
Exactly. So because I didn't want to take medication for the rest of my life, I started doing my own research, and I realized that there's actually an option. There's a way that a doctor can go in and remove your gland and leave the other part for your body to use, so that I don't have to keep taking medication all the time. But I still do go for checkups. Yeah.
Where was your family in the midst of all of this? You know, obviously you were learning about it. I'm assuming they also probably didn't know that much about it.
Yeah.
When you look back, you know, as far as society and family and friends are concerned in
Yeah.
terms of offering support, what's the best way to do that? Or is part of it also that awareness? Really?
Part of it is the awareness, yeah, because we are not just empowering the people with thyroid disease, we are also creating awareness of the people around the people that are suffering with thyroid disease,
Yeah.
even at work,
Yeah.
you know, at home, and so that you are able to create a conducive environment for them as they deal with the disease. So my family was actually very supportive. It is, as I said, it's still a very foreign disease in Kenya. It is also very expensive to treat. So they had to come in and help to chip in a little bit here and there, and also the emotional support. So
Yeah.
family support is important at home and at work also. Your colleagues should be able to understand, because there are times you will come in, you're tired, and your body burns out completely and you find yourself sleeping on the desk.
Wow.
So you don't become as productive. And then if you're working, your employer might start thinking you're just being lazy. And most thyroid disease patients are actually, they've been labeled as lazy, but it's not really them. It is the disease.
All right, Joyce Henry Boniface, you say you're locked in from Mary, and you say great lady right there. So someone's certainly learning from your story and getting encouragement from it. Asanteni sana. Our time is running out very quickly, but before we wrap up here, tell me about this foundation now. When did you establish it?
So we started the Teta Foundation in 2017. And that is after, right before I had gone for surgery, but after I'd lost my friend to thyroid disease.
Wow.
And we were almost the same age. She had just given birth, and I had just given birth. But luckily, I was able to detect it in time. She wasn't able to. And so she died and left a young little boy, which really
That's
got to me. So I
heartbreaking.
thought that it wouldn't be good for somebody to lose their lives, especially women, because thyroid disease affects more women than men. And I thought it would just be good to empower people, to create awareness about them, but more so also create a platform for the people that are suffering with thyroid disease to come in and feel, you know, understood.
Right.
Because thyroid disease victims are some of the most victimized, isolated people you will ever meet. They're not understanding themselves, the symptoms themselves, they're not understanding. When they go to hospital, it's not being detected. So
Yeah.
you know there's a lot of confusion. So
Yeah.
when they come and they're trying to figure out what they're going through, they feel trapped in their own bodies. So they need a platform that they're able to be a part of. And I wish that I had that, because
Yeah.
then I would have shortened my treatment
Sure.
period. So what we do now is to help people shorten that span, so they're able to detect it early and just get on the right path immediately. We have a doctor that we work with that also helps to see some of our patients that reach out to us.
Okay, so the foundation, lots of activities then for those already experiencing thyroid disease,
Yeah.
as far as support, information, because
treatment
you're saying
options.
treatment options
Yeah.
as far as particularly shortening that treatment period,
Yeah.
but even then for the people around us,
Yeah.
around those with thyroid disease,
Yeah.
is that information and awareness.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you guys take part in any sort of activities or events?
We do. We have support groups sometimes that we meet somewhere. When I just talk to my patients, they tell me where I want to meet, we go and we meet. Sometimes we can bring in the doctor to come and just talk to them when he's available.
Yeah.
And now we also go to, like, wherever we are called, any platform that we are called, corporate institutions, churches, social groups, we are able to go and teach people about this thing.
Okay.
So that they're able to arrest it and
Yeah.
have a thyroid managed, thyroid free Kenya.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, as we wind up, maybe you can just tell us how people can get in touch with you or get plugged into the foundation and the work that you're doing.
Yeah, so you can reach us at our social media platforms. We are at Thyroid Disease Awareness Kenya on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And on Twitter, we are at Teta Foundation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much for being here today, Sarah. Thank you for sharing your story. We're
Thank
glad
you.
you're
Thank you
well
for
and
having
on your
me.
way, and we
Yeah.
wish you God's blessings.
Oh, thank you so much.
All through and through.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we've come to the end of our show today. Asanteni sana for being a part. And just before I say goodbye, let me remind you again that Aladdin is offering a 90% discount when you shop of their clothing or groceries online. And as our dear audience on Switch TV, they're giving you an extra 200 bob off when you use the coupon code SWH200, and your goods will be delivered to you within 48 hours of request. So do get shopping. That's it for me today. Asanteni sana to all of you. Lots of feedback that we have here. Thank you to my entire crew, and thank you to all of my guests who've been a part of making today's show what it has been. We'll be back here tomorrow as we look at change makers in our second hour, and in the first hour we're going to be talking about women and the sort of influence that we can bring and make in our society, with some special guests joining me then. Until then, have yourselves a blessed day. I'll leave you with a song. Kwaherini tuonane. God bless. Ciao.